Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Senna supplementary guide, and we've taken a look at Senna's updated complete guide already, which is basically the kind of tanky kind of Senna build where you basically build a lot of tank items like of course our Iceborne Gauntlet, and of course also our maw, things like that. You basically, and you take grass, you want to be really tanky. So now we're going to take a look at a little bit of a more carry oriented Senna. Now you can see that we still have some tank aspects inside, like the plate steel caps and the Iceborne Gauntlet, and some tank runes as well, but we're going to get into all of that. So let's jump straight in. First up, you still want to take Relic Shield. Now Relic Shield, you don't exactly take it for the health, but you basically take it because it's really easy to proc and the most reliable out of all of the support items, because Sickle you have to play aggressive and you have to poke, which Senna generally wants to do, but sometimes you're basically forced into making unforced errors because you're trying to poke your Spectral Sickle and you're way too predictable because of that, and that's just no good. So I prefer to take the Relic Shield. Of course, do not Relic minions, because if not you won't get souls. And then, of course, being a carry build, we start off with Manamune. So Manamune does a few things. Firstly, it's a really gold efficient item. It's really cheap, but it gives you a lot of damage when it evolves. Next, it gives you mana. As we know, Senna really needs mana because she uses a lot of mana. So Manamune really good for that. And of course, lastly, you get damage on your auto attacks as well as your spells, which is amazing. So even on carry Senna, I think you do have to go for defensive boots. So Senna is really squishy, and there's no point having so much damage if you're just gonna get one shot anyway. So I like to still go for defensive boots on carry Senna. So either the steel caps or the merc treads. And then for the enchantment you want to go for, it is really variable depending on the match. So if you're of course doing very well and if you're carrying, you can go for the carry enchants like Stasis and QSS. But if you still want to be a little bit more supportive to your team but help yourself, you can go for Locket or something like Redemption. Where is Redemption? Here, Redemption. And of course, this revival enchant's always going to be an option, but not the best when you're trying to carry, because it's only going to help your teammates, not going to help yourself. So, next item, either you can go for the, if there's a lot of shielding on the enemy team, then here you want to go for Serpent's Fang. So Serpent's Fang, of course, in this position, gives you, of course, the armor pen as well as the damage, as well as mainly the anti-shielding effect. Now you could actually go for other lethality items here, like Dustblade, for example, but I personally only go the lethality item if I need the Serpent's Fang. If not, I prefer to actually go for a tank item, which is going to be Iceborne Gauntlet. Now you might be wondering, wait a minute, isn't this the carry Senna build? Well, yeah, but as I mentioned, firstly, number one, you can't carry anything if you're dead, because you know you're really squishy. You're one of the squishiest characters in the game. And number two, Iceborne Gauntlet actually gives you a decent amount of damage for a couple reasons. So firstly, it gives you health for survivability, armor for survivability, but it gives you mana, and don't forget you have Manamune. So the mana is gonna get converted to damage because of your Manamune, and you have 30 ability haste, which is obviously the most haste you can get on one item in the game, which is gonna allow you to use your Q and your W more often, which of course leads to more damage. And then finally you have the Spellblade. So Spellblade is whenever you cast an ability, your next attack will deal bonus physical damage equivalent to 100% base AD together with 25% bonus armor, as well as create the slow zone. So slow zone is utility purposes, but in terms of damage purposes, 100% base AD of course, as well as 25% bonus armor, which you basically only get from here and maybe here if you go for the steel caps, but it's still decent because you still get damage from this item, so it's not too bad. Then, of course, Bloodthirster is a really strong item now, so I like to go for Bloodthirster. Huge amount of AD physical vamp, as well as you get the bonus attack speed and AD when you're high on health. And of course, we like to go for Maul Reminder, Armor Penetration, as well as Grievous Wounds. Now, for the last like two items, you can swap around the order. Like in the game, I actually went for Maul Reminder first, because I was playing against a Rammus who was really tanky, so I needed that Maul Reminder just to cut him down. And honestly, if in certain games, by the time you get to like Maul Reminder, or rather, by the time you get to Bloodthirster, sometimes you have so many souls that you don't actually even need crit anymore. Excuse me. And sometimes you can actually go for IE, just to get yourself to 100% crit. You know, combine with the crit from your passive and get the bonus crit damage. That's also an option. So of course, carry Senna, you want to go for Kraken Slayer for your keystone. Of course, this is really easy to proc with Senna's auto Q auto combo, deals a lot of extra damage. And then once again, I like to actually go for the defensive options. Why? Basically, I really don't think Senna has very good carry runes. So if we take a look here, out of, like, let's say if we take Precision, what do we take? We take Brutal, I guess we take Giant Slayer, and here I guess we take Omnivamp. That's not bad. We have Domination, so a lot of people like Domination. You take like Shield Bash, you take like Empowered Attack, and you take like Eyeball Collector or Zombie Ward. I really don't think this is really good either. So I honestly think the best option is to go for the defensive runes, because once again, if you survive, you're going to do more damage. So we have the Nullifying Orb, of course, to block damage when you get low. You have the Anti-Burst from the Bone Plating, and of course you have the Health from the Overgrowth. And I like to take Giant Slayer over here because normally in like every match there's going to be at least one tanky target, and this is going to help you damage them a lot. So for the spells, of course you're playing Senna support, so you want to go for Flash. And if your ADC has like Ghost or Ignite for some reason, you obviously want to go for Exhaust because again you are a carry yourself, so you do want to have that Exhaust coming in handy for assassins that jump onto you. Of course, a more selfish option could be Barrier, and a lot more selfless option could be Heal. But generally I think Exhaust is probably the best way to go. So anyway, with all that out of the way, let's jump into talking about the gameplay. Okay, so now hopping into the gameplay. Now, as I mentioned in my Senna updated complete guide, honestly, by this time, a long time ago, you can play like the tank Senna, which is the one I covered in that video, every single game if you really wanted to. But with the carry one, you can't exactly do that because it will mess up your team comp. So firstly, number one, if your team doesn't have any kind of front line and you play carry Senna, you're gonna get blasted and you're gonna very easily be killed and you're gonna be relatively useless. So you need some kind of front line or at least someone to stand in front of you. So in this case, it's likely gonna be the Riven. Maybe Yone will be in front just auto attacking, but he can probably just jump away with his E anyway. So that's not a very reliable way. So of course, as playing as a carry, like it also kind of messes up your team comp because you now have like double ADC. So as I mentioned, you really want like tanks on your team and such. Like of course you have those like horrible team comps where you have like an ADC top, ADC mid, that kind of thing. You don't really want to pick Senna. You don't really want to pick Senna carry in that scenario. You could pick Senna. You could pick Senna as a tank, but of course probably engage support would probably be better in this particular team comp. But yeah, so here, how you want to play carry Senna is same as tank Senna, honestly, in the lane. You want to play pretty aggressive. So you want to be trying to auto attack the enemies, not just to of course deal damage, but also to get stacks. So here, I get a nice root off on the Ashe when Rakan engages, so he can't really follow up. Ashe flashes forward, we pop the exhaust onto the Ashe, and we are able to basically just save our Twitch. So you can see here, we're just trying to basically proc Kraken Slayer as often as possible, number one, and of course number two, we're trying to do damage and get stacks as well. So here Riven comes in. Now here Twitch gets very greedy by flashing forward, and he ends up trading 1-for-1 with Ashe because he stepped into tower range to tank tower. I think that was not just very greedy, but just not very intelligent in general. But before we talk about that, let's quickly talk about what's happening here. Yasuo expects my W, so he win walls it, which is really smart, but unfortunately he can't win wall my auto attacks, so because of that we are able to secure the kill. In case you guys didn't know, Yasuo cannot win wall Senna's spells except her W. You cannot win wall Senna's auto attack, you cannot win wall Senna's ulti, you cannot win wall Senna's Q, because those are lasers, they're not projectiles. Like it basically sounds like the same thing, but essentially Yasuo blocks like bullets, and he doesn't block like lasers. So you can't block like Lux laser, you can't block like Senna ulti because that's a laser. You can only block like bullets, like Twitch's auto attack, for example. Like if that's confusing, basically just know that you can only block Senna's W as Yasuo. You can't block anything else from Senna. So Senna's kind of a soft counter to Yasuo. I say it's a soft counter because you don't really want to be picking Senna just because you see a Yasuo, because Yasuo can still obviously jump on you, ult you, and kill you. So yeah. But anyways, we're gonna go back to the point just now about why what Twitch did was really not too intelligent. Firstly, he blew his flash, which is not too bad because we had kill potential. But secondly, me and Riven were there, and either of us could have gotten the kill. So basically, blowing your flash getting your jungler to come and then trading 1-for-1 is a really bad deal, right? Because you have an advantage because of your jungler, and here Yasuo barely survives. You have an advantage because of your jungler, and you used your flash. So what you really want is you want a kill and get out, right? So because he got greedy for getting the kill himself, he tanked the tower and he died, which basically wasted Riven's effort of ganking us and wasted his own flash as well. So that's really bad. So anyways, here we're just go back to the lane, back to just harassing, auto-attacking. Here a nice predict by me on the Rakan jump, and I'm able to get off a really nice route. I exhaust Rakan before he's able to jump on us to basically make sure he does no damage at all, and Twitch is able to escape with the help of his Q. So here we're just going to back. I'm gonna complete my defensive boots early. Of course, basically makes it such that Ashe is gonna do very little damage against me, and their whole team is basically AD except for Gwen, who's obviously AP. Rakan is building tank, so his damage is gonna be not the most important here. But yeah, so here, while I was trying to pick up the souls, I accidentally relic the cannon by accident, which is of course what you don't want to do, because this will of course prevent you from getting the soul from the cannon. And, you know, obviously you do it by accident once, it's fine. Anyways, I already fully charged my item. So here you can honestly see Rakan chanting Hex Flash because of the ward, but I have no idea why the Twitch just stayed there and allowed himself to get engaged on. Now he gets chunked out and he's at roughly half health. So here he randomly ults. I'm not sure what he's doing, but he ults to clear the way. So pretty much based off of the last couple of plays, I basically realized that this Twitch is probably not the guy I want to be supporting. In the first place, I'm obviously kind of building carry in the first place, but even building carry, you still can heal people and such. So here I have to flash because if I get engaged on by Rammus, I can get chain CC'd by Rakan and Ashe, so that's 100% death, so I have to blow the flash there. But yeah, so probably I want to be supporting someone else with my like heals and like my ulti, and probably it's not gonna be not really gonna be the Twitch, at least not as of now. So anyways, here enemy team is doing the dragon, which we can of course see. Here obviously we need our jungler to come if we want to contest, but here I'm just kind of getting a lot of free damage on, and now the enemy team got the dragon, but the question is, can they get out? Well, Rammus can't, and now we're on the chase for the rest of them. Gwen is kind of just stuck and does try to dash over the wall, but she is dead. Yasuo is just chasing behind us, but he's kind of trying to join the fight but not quite making it there. Now here he comes. Here he's gonna get rooted, gets the ulti and does manage to ult at the end, which does secure the kill onto Twitch, but of course he does die eventually. I'm getting a Q across my team to of course just heal them up a little bit from the fight, and we secure the tower as well. So overall I think it went a lot better for my team than theirs. Here Rammus trolling, he goes in 1v4, tries to go for the 1 HP Yone, which Yone of course, again, kind of the same mistake that Twitch did, but just not as egregious, which is after he got out of Rammus's taunt, all he needs to do is just run away. Like, he shouldn't be attacking the Rammus because he's damaging himself by attacking the Rammus and also staying in range of Rammus's Searing Crown. Alright, that's not, Searing Crown doesn't have a range, that was Sunfire Aegis, but basically by attacking him, he's proccing the Searing Crown and proccing Rammus's passive, so he literally is killing himself by attacking when all he could have done is just walk away and let someone else get the kill, which I mean, he didn't even get the kill anyway because he died, but I just don't think this kind of behavior is very intelligent, but just people are really greedy a lot of the times. So here, Yone tries to make a play, whiffs basically everything except that Q3, and here, Riven trying to get close in. Rakan basically sacrifices himself so that his Ashe can escape, but he is really low and we're on the chase. Using my range, I'm going to try to aim my Q and get the kill onto the Rakan, and we are able to secure that. So you can see in this match, especially because we've been playing so aggressive and there's been so many fights, we've been collecting so many souls, because honestly, farming souls on champions, not just champion kills, but just by attacking a champion twice, is a lot more reliable than of course farming from minions, but of course that's pretty difficult. So here I get a nice route onto the Yasuo, nowhere to go, tries to knock up for the ult but doesn't get off the ult in time and does end up going down. But yeah, so because of how many fights there are, I'm actually getting souls really quickly, which is amazing. which is why in this particular match I did consider going for IE as my last item, but I didn't have time to build it, of course. But this would be a match where IE is really good when you have like so many souls that you have, you know, basically max crit rate, and you're gonna crit on every shot anyway. Then getting something like IE is gonna, of course, bolster your damage by a lot. So here I think Zoe's playing way too aggressive, so I'm just here covering behind her. I'm able to get off an amazing route which prevents Rakan from engaging on me, and I almost managed to save the Zoe with my heal, but she does go down. I do end up getting the trade kill on Rakan. Huge route onto Yasuo to prevent him from dashing onto someone to knock them up for the ulti. And Riven gets in a double ulti. I'm chasing the Rammus down, flashing forward to get the kill on Rammus, but Twitch Poison ends up getting the kill instead. And now Gwen is basically left in the middle of our whole team. Does manage to actually kill 2 people, which is pretty amazing given the circumstances. And the rest of us are able to escape with our lives. So overall, once again, quite a favorable trade for my team. Overall, we come out on top in terms of kills. And here I have completed my mana meal some time ago, of course, and I'm building, of course, towards the Iceborne Gauntlet. Not too much shielding on this team. Like, we have Rakan passive and Yasuo passive, but aside from that, not too much. So I didn't really think Serpent's Fang was necessary. I'd rather go for the more tanky route. And honestly, there's no point even building any kind of MR, because Gwen does, her main damage form is like true damage from her scissors, so no real no real incentive to build any kind of magic resist anyway. So stacking armor probably just the best way in terms of going for any kind of defensive stats. So here, if you look at the gold, despite being a support, I actually have just 300 gold less than Twitch and just like 100 gold less than Zoe. I actually have more gold than Yone at the moment. Of course, I'm 5, 0, and 7, and of course I've been collecting a lot of souls and such, but that's a lot of gold for someone who did not even farm at all. Like, I literally only got kills, I did not farm any minions and such, and here I get hit by a huge Ashe ult, which then gets hit by every other CC, and I do end up just getting one shot without doing anything basically. And this is basically what would have happened if I got hit by the Rammus ult just now, just in a different order, of course. Like, if the Rammus ult hit me just now in the lane, it would have been like Rammus ult into like an Ashe arrow into like a Rakan ult and knock up, and that's basically what would have happened, which is why I flashed the Rammus ult. But here obviously the Ashe arrow came out of nowhere and wasn't quite expecting it, so obviously don't have that kind of reaction time to flash. And the fight is really long and extended, a really long and messy fight, where basically only Zoe remains alive. The enemy team takes their second dragon of the match. Here I've gotten my mana immune evolved into my mirror mana, so now, you know, I'm gonna start actually doing some damage. So here Yasuo overextends a lot to get like tower damage, I guess. But yeah, you can see he basically just gets destroyed. Ashe pops the ulti but ends up being wasted. And here, of course, we only need 200 gold for Iceborne completion, so we are going to back to complete our Iceborne Gauntlet, which is, of course, going to be a major purchase both in terms of defensively and offensively as well. So here, and something I didn't mention is you could technically replace this with a Black Cleaver as well, which is a little bit more offensive, I guess, but I just prefer the Iceborne Gauntlet over the Black Cleaver. You know, just because Iceborne Gauntlet, you know, really decent damage, really decent stats, just an item that I love. You got really good utility as well with the slow zone. Alright, so here nothing too much is happening. Looks like a top play might be happening. A lot of people are going to like the top side, including me, Zoe, Ashe, and such. So here Ashe kind of gets caught. Gets one shot nearly 100 to 0 by Yone, but does survive on 1 HP because of her stasis. In the meanwhile, we are engaged on the Gwen, who does take a chunk but does not quite die. Here Rakan whiffs the W, and here we're trying to get Tara dive off. We are able to secure the kill onto Rakan. Gwen with the Herald miss is a little bit harder, but we do get her eventually. You can see that after building my tank items, you can see that when I tank a tower shot, I'm not even taking that much damage anymore. Here Rammus again tries to go in 1v4. Really don't know what the Rammus is doing. Like, he's tanky, but he's not gonna survive 1v5 now. So here Ashe just stuck under the tower. Not too much can be done. Healing Yone to make sure he does not die. And now Yasuo does something that's really smart, which is he basically just split pushes in on this bot lane, which forces us to back. And even after we back, we don't even we aren't even able to protect our inhib. So he gets a basically not free, but he basically trades a couple of his teammates' lives for the inhib, which is not too bad when you're the team that's behind. I'd say their team is slightly behind it at the minimum. But yeah, so here fight kind of continues. I walk straight into a Yasuo knock up into the ulti, but doesn't really matter. I'm gonna auto attack. Look at how much damage my one auto attack did on the Yasuo there. Here I'm just trying to once again just harass, getting the root onto Rakan using the minion trick. Rakan gets a really nice engage, and I'm gonna just flash out, get the ult off across all of them, for the shield on the Riven as well, and we're just gonna basically just auto attack them down. Riven picks up a triple kill, lots of souls on the ground for me to pick up, and we can go for our Baron. And by the way, guys, you can see that even after I've used my, not used, but even after I have my mana immune, I still am kind of running out of mana. Like, I'm still really low on mana. I can see that like Senna really has mana issues. Even with mana immune, you still have mana issues. That really shows the gravity of the situation. Anyways, here we are going to reset. We're going to, in this case, build towards more reminders. So here we get the anti-healing healing component first, because obviously Yasuo heals, Gwen heals, and yeah, so we want to cut down those healing. And of course, we also want the armor pen for the Rammus, especially. Here we had the huge wave, so I'm just collecting the souls from the wave. I'm not trying to steal minions from my teammates. I'm just trying to get the souls. Look at the souls. That whole wave had souls for me, so huge amount of souls here. And here the final dragon is actually spawning, and this will give the enemy team Ice Dragon souls. So we probably do want to contest. Honestly, if they don't get it, I mean, if they do get it, it doesn't really matter still. But we're the stronger team now, so there's no reason why we should give them anything. Here, since red buff is up, I'm gonna grab myself the red buff. I ult across my team to give them the shield, and also to do a little bit of damage onto the enemy team. Huge messy fight kind of breaks out here, and I'm basically just attacking first target, which in this case is Rakan, who's closest to me. Yasuo tries to come in, I exhaust him, and I dodge his ulti, dodge his tornado, sorry, and allows me to pick up the kill onto, or rather Zoe picks up the kill onto him, but either way he's dead. Here nearly caught the Rammus on his recall, but unfortunately a little bit too slow. So here our jungler is dead, which is why we're not really doing the dragon, because Rammus could just roll on in and smite steal it, so that's obviously not what we want. Here you can see we're just harassing the Gwen under the tower, and we get the root onto Gwen so she can't follow up from Rakan's engage. And we've actually done this like about 3 or 4 times in this game already, where we basically root whoever else is with the Rakan, so that when Rakan engages, he has completely no follow up, and because of that he is of course in trouble. So it looks like enemy team might be doing dragon here, and they actually are. So here we are able to root and dodge Rakan's engage while getting a little bit of damage onto them. Now unfortunately we weren't able to stop them from doing dragon. Twitch is just split pushing in the meanwhile, and they are able to get the dragon soul, but as I mentioned, it's not too big of a deal. Here Zoe ends up walking in 1v3 and dying for some reason, and Riven is basically trying to do the same, but she's a lot more tanky, so she's fine. I was trying to wrap around to try to help her out, but turns out the fight may not really be happening here anymore, so nothing too much really happening here. So here Rakan tries to go for the fruit for some reason, baits Rammus into going in, and here Rammus and Rakan definitely cannot kill me and Riven, whereas me and Riven can kill them, although at a really slow rate. And of course no one ends up dying there because we don't have enough time to run them down and kill them, but they are able to escape. And here I'm going to pick up my Mole Reminder, and at this point in time I'm at 100% crit already. The Mole Reminder crit plus the amount of crit I got from my souls is so much that yeah, at this point I'm at 100% crit. So I have like 120 souls or something like that at this point, and it's a huge wave here. So in this case I'm trying to ping assistance for someone to take the wave, but in the meanwhile, while no one is coming, I'm just taking the wave for the gold, because I can like of course build to IE or Bloodthirster, which is really expensive, and I wouldn't mind the gold. Now that Yone is coming, I'm just gonna let him take the wave. I'm just gonna go for the souls instead, which there's pretty much 1 soul for every minion at this point here. Of course also a little bit of RNG there. Here Yasuo hits the knockup on me, but doesn't ult, obviously, because all my teammates are around. Here he pretty much just gets caught and run down. Here I'm waiting to dodge the tornado, which I do. He basically goes down. I ult for the shield on my team, and Rakan is left at 1 HP. Now Gwen is the main target for my team, and here I'm just attacking whoever is nearest in front, which in this case is Rammus. So I'm just gonna finish off the Rammus first, and we basically kill everyone on their team except Gwen with 1 HP and Ashe, who I really don't even know where she was. So Gwen probably is backing somewhere because she's 1 HP, so she can't do anything. I don't think Ashe is gonna do anything either, so it looks like it's a free Elder Dragon for us. And we're in prime position, of course, to end the game. So here, of course, next step after Elder Dragon is going to be to just get Baron. Of course, still only the same 2 people are alive, so again, should be a relatively free Baron with our jungler alive. And of course they do spot this, but really it's not too surprising. Ashe arrow comes down, not quite sure what the goal was there. Gwen ulti comes down, also not quite sure what the goal was there. Maybe they're trying to help us leash Baron faster. So here anyways, Yone goes over the wall to basically prevent anyone from coming over, and basically secures, we secure the Baron, you know, with, you know, no huge effort. So here Yasuo once again is looking to get caught, you know, split pushing, or like, it's not really even split pushing if it's mid lane, but he was kind of overextended pushing, but he ends up pretty much just escaping. And here Rakan gets in a pretty good engage. We're gonna QSS his CC and kill him off, and then we're gonna kill the Gwen, and Yasuo and Ashe are the only 2 left alive. So here I'm just going for the wave while my team is basically busy chasing for more kills. And you know, of course, this is an angle to end the game, so you know, we want to not waste any time and not, you know, not waste time chasing the kills basically. So here we're gonna get, of course, the tower, and we can basically end the game because Ashe is not gonna be able to stop us herself. Look at this point how much damage we do to the Ashe, by the way. So here we're just gonna go in, auto attack. That's how much one auto attack does on the Ashe. Ashe just stasis. One more auto attack is probably gonna kill her because of the Elder buff, but yeah. So I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.